Good morning, and thank you so much for allowing me to come and visit with you this morning about the Flint Hills Breadbasket, but more importantly, what is happening in our faith communities, whether it is here in this building or many of our other faith communities, has such an important role in the service that we provide at the Breadbasket and in our community as a whole. My faith background, I'm an Army kid, so I spent my childhood being whatever denomination our post-chaplain happened to be. But as an adult here in Manhattan, my faith background is just down the street at First United Methodist Church. So when I think about stewardship and I think about what my charge is as a United Methodist, I go to our Methodist vows. Those are that we serve God with our prayers, our presence, our gifts, our service, and our witness. So those 5 things. Some of those, again, when we talk about God's knocking on your door, are easier than others. Witness is the newest addition to the Methodist, and witness for Methodists maybe, and maybe for many people, feels pretty strange and different. Yeah? Yeah. But the way I really look at it is that wherever you are in your faith, your witness is not necessarily you're going out and talking about this scripture, that scripture. It's how we live our faith. It's how we put ourselves out there as Christians in the world. And what is the works that we're doing? And what is it that is making us live our lives under this faith and guided by God? So when I thought about what I wanted to share with you all this morning about the Breadbasket and how what you are doing here and how your church is impacting our community in Manhattan, I think about all of our faith communities and how important they are to the work at the Breadbasket. The Breadbasket has a mission. Our mission is 3-part. We are here in our community to provide reliable access to healthy food, to build connections with community partners, and to empower people to meet their basic needs, with an end vision that there will be no one in need among us. And then I put that with my faith and with the faith of the people here, and I just don't see any better way that could fit with God's charge for us. With God's charge for us to care for the world and the people around us. I look at our faith communities and their capacity, whether they're coming together on Sundays or Wednesdays or whatever it looks like for them to come into a place of worship, or if it's on Zoom or in somebody's house or wherever that is, our communities of faith, their role at this point is not contained within the walls of the building. And I have felt that forever. God's charge for us is not to be here on Sunday and be in community amongst ourselves. God's charge for us is to take that community out into the greater world. And I see that happening every day in our work at the Breadbasket. We're providing people with very, very essential needs, with food, hygiene items, basic care items for them. But even more so when I look in this room and I see some of our volunteers, I see people who come and spend time with us at the Breadbasket each week. Even more so important, I believe, that our guests are receiving, our neighbors are receiving when they come to see us is relationship and community. It is not a transactional service. It is a community that is being built. It is relationships and care that is being expressed. And I see that as God's love, taking it out into the world. Again, when I was thinking about what I wanted to share with you today, I'm not a prepared speech kind of person. I always just let it mull. So when I got in the car this morning, I didn't have it all planned out. But I had some main points that I wanted to make sure I touched on. And then I came in this morning, and while we were waiting for service to start, I pulled out your bulletin. I was reading the What Jonah Learned About Abundance by Lee Holmoses. Now, first of all, I did have to Google and make sure that Lee Holmoses was not like a member of your congregation.
He's not.
Because he's a she.
Oh, she's not.
She's not.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So Lee Holmoses is a minister for the Christian Church Disciples of Christ in Greensboro, North Carolina. So a little background there. But really what touched me was the last paragraph of what she wrote, and I think it really captures it. So I'm going to read it to you just in case you leave your bulletin behind today and don't have a chance to look at that. I really think it captures it. We live today in a culture that is bent on scarcity. We have believed the narrative that there is not enough to go around, and so we should hang on tight to what we have. We're convinced that if you get something good, that means there will be less available for me. Perhaps the greatest gift the church can give the world right now is to bear witness, there's our witness, to God's abundance. The story of Jonah, along with the rest of the biblical witness, convinces us that there is enough of God's care, enough of God's grace, enough of God's love. I think that perfectly captures what your church is doing and what we hope to be doing at the Breadbasket and so many other agencies in this community that you guys are touching through your care for the community. We want all of our guests and all of our neighbors that are coming to see us to feel, not just be told, but to feel that there is enough, that they are recipients of God's care, God's grace, and God's love. And that happens through our actions. And it happens through the relationships that are happening there. And as Kayla just alluded, I guess my concluding point would be when she talks about the joy that she receives from giving and from making that pledge and making that commitment, I also see the joy that I receive every day when I come into work. I might wake up in the morning and just not really quite be in the mood. But there is a moment every day where somebody touches my heart and touches my life. Whether it's a volunteer who tells me that the highlight of their week is coming and spending that time in community with us, a guest who tells us how important this, whatever particular